may now begin your presentation.
Canada, the true north, strong and free, was built on a promise to protect both this land and the people that call it home.
From incredible waterfalls to stunning coastlines, our greatest gift has always been the bond between nature and those who live alongside it.
But this promise is slowly slipping away, not from the chaos beyond our borders, but from the choices made here at home.
For far too long, we have taken this land for granted, resulting in a broken relationship with the natural resources that sustain us.
Unsustainable logging practices now threaten our global climate.
Indigenous communities lack access to clean drinking water.
And our next generation doesn't have the tools to take action and make a difference.
With our team of 143 members at Enactus UBC, we saw no choice than to fight these systemic issues that threaten our home.
Because when we define the true north, strong and free, it means so much more than just protecting our sovereignty.
It means doing everything in our power to keep Canada as not only our home, but our children and grandchildren's homes too.
With our story today being one of protecting our home, we found no better place to start than with where we live in British Columbia.
A province defined by its vast forests and natural beauty. British Columbia's forestry industry is a major economic driver, but beneath it lies an environmental crisis.
Each year in BC, 1.75 million tons of wood is wasted due to deforestation and unsustainable logging practices.
The National Zero Waste Council states that 85% of this discarded wood remains unused in landfills, releasing carbon emissions and contributing to the growing climate crisis.
If even a fraction of this discarded wood were to be repurposed, it would generate millions in economic and social value and bring our province a step closer to achieving UN SDG number 12.
With our first project, Rekindle, we partnered with UBC Center of Advanced Wood Processing to upcycle discarded wood into biodegradable, waterproof coasters.
After 30 prototypes, we re-engineered a brand new casing-based adhesive by adding baking soda for stronger bonding and urea to prevent brittleness.
To ensure it is waterproof, we then add natural wood oil and plant-based wax as our finish.
Coasters are the perfect balance of functionality and sustainability. Small enough to refine our adhesive technology, yet impactful enough to educate consumers on waste-free wood products.
With our unit cost of just 70 cents, we maintain a 72% profit margin while underselling all of our competitors at a selling price of just $2.50.
As of today, we have an established retail partnership with the UBC bookstore, who have already purchased 500 coasters to begin selling this month.
What we really want to emphasize today is our innovative casing adhesive, which we are currently working to patent and use to develop additional household products.
And by September, we will be launching 2 student job opportunities in collaboration with the UBC Sauder School of Business to help us expand our reach.
We have also begun outreach to additional retailers and are currently developing a partnership with Canadian Tire, who are planning on purchasing our expanded line of scalable, in-demand household products.
Rekindle is more than just a range of products. It's a movement to reshape the future of consumption in Canada, starting in our home, BC.
However, as we took a step to repair our relationship with BC's forest, we identified another urgent crisis: water accessibility.
In a province known for glacial rivers, access to clean water should be a given, but for far too many, it's not.
As of January 31st, the BC First Nations Health Authority reported 37 drinking water advisories across 30 First Nations communities. Across Canada, this leaves 2 million people with unreliable access to clean drinking water.
But this isn't just a number. It's a lived reality. Families like those in the Skoluk First Nation face a daily struggle. Hours boiling water, costly alternatives, and exposure to toxins like arsenic and lead.
We began by listening. Over the past year, our team visited nations, sat in community halls, and engaged with Indigenous elders.
We heard stories of rashes after showers, of bottled water costing over $80 per month for a single person, of mothers having to brush their children's teeth with unclean water.
One mother told us, it's not just inconvenient, it's humiliating. This is not because there's no water, it's because the systems that should be protecting them haven't.
This is a systemic failure. Indigenous communities rely on outdated, overburdened infrastructure. Government solutions are slow. New water systems can take 5 to 10 years, cost millions, and break down if they're not maintained.
And in the meantime, people are left waiting.
To tackle UN SDG number 6, we began by collaborating with the UBC Chinook Indigenous Business Center and the Indigenous Research Support Initiative to learn and relearn the challenges that these communities face.
Over 4 months of consulting with Indigenous leaders and elders of our communities, we developed Mira, a sustainable multi-layer water filter that tackles organic chemicals, inorganic pollutants, and biological contaminants.
Unlike existing solutions such as Brita or chlorine tablets that only target 1 or 2 contaminants, Mira removes all 3. Here's how.
A 50-watt solar panel powers an electric pump that draws water from the source and passes through 4 stages.
First, an activated carbon filter removes organic pollutants like pesticides and fertilizers.
Next, a UV light breaks down DNA in bacteria and viruses.
Third, a particle filter eliminates dirt, microplastics, and waste.
And finally, a reverse osmosis membrane extracts heavy metals such as lead and arsenic, as well as salts.
The result? Water that meets World Health Organization standards for clean water for up to 100 people per filter.
But we didn't just stop at filtration. As social entrepreneurs, Mira was built with practicality and flexibility in mind.
It can be used in community halls, taken to emergency sites, or even connected directly to a sink, making it perfect for everyday use.
With similar market alternatives ranging from $500 to $3,000, Mira costs just $150 to set up and $25 per year for maintenance. This includes filter replacements and UV upkeep.
Our pilot project launches this summer, providing clean drinking water to 60 residents in the Squamish First Nation. And we're already in active communications with 3 more communities to scale our impact by 2026.
Having completed testing with accredited UBC labs and gained approval from the BC First Nations Health Authority, our next step is official certification from the National Sanitation Foundation by the end of this year.
Through Rekindle and Mira, we're not just appreciating BC's beauty, we're protecting, respecting, and restoring it.
Now, judges, standing here today, our team is incredibly proud to have brought these 2 entrepreneurial projects to life this year and have taken meaningful strides towards protecting the home that we are so passionate about.
However, if you asked any of us back in high school, we wouldn't have thought any of this was even possible. We simply didn't know where to start.
At Enactus UBC, we surveyed over 2,000 BC students and found that we weren't alone. Our students want to make tangible, sustainable impact, but 78% feel the BC curriculum has failed to equip them with the entrepreneurial resources to do so.
Protecting our home means going a step beyond our own ventures like Rekindle and Mira. It means we claim ownership in ensuring the next generation can create sustainable, positive impact.
Our final, most long-standing projects, Ennovate and Enspire, are hands-on educational programs that empower youth through social entrepreneurship.
In both programs, our student leaders go directly into classrooms to teach workshops on business fundamentals.
We mentor students to become entrepreneurial leaders and create ventures that each tackle a UN SDG.
Through Enspire, our program leaders introduce elementary students, age 11 to 13, on foundational and fundamental business skills.
And through Ennovate, high school students can create their own innovative social enterprises that make a direct impact in their local communities. Unlike other educational programs, which focus solely on conceptual learning, we provide every team with a $150 microloan, simulating financial risk and responsibility.
I'm standing here today to share my story as a past participant. When I was in high school, I created Cedar, a project that collects produce from farms and repurposes them into meals for food insecure students. When I joined UBC, I brought this project to Enactus to deepen our impact. None of this would have been possible without the skills and confidence that Ennovate gave me.
Irvy's story is one of many. 1/3 of our current Ennovate team has come back to Enactus UBC after completing Ennovate, using their experiences to educate and elevate future changemakers.
In the past year alone, we have developed online learning modules that have allowed us to expand our reach from BC to Alberta and Ontario.
And grew from 37 to 48 classes across 9 cities, expanding our home across Canada to empower the next generation.
With over 300 workshops, we have impacted over 1,400 students in entrepreneurial education and workforce preparation.
We have also supported the creation of 50 student-led businesses and have generated over $14,000 in revenue.
As for our next steps, we are working towards a partnership with the Vancouver School Board to incorporate our programs into the BC curriculum to reach all students and make systemic change.
Through Rekindle and Mira, our team has proven that we are capable of building and growing successful social enterprises.
And with Ennovate and Enspire, we've taken the depth of our impact a step forward, creating long-term ripples through the next generation.
Across all our combined initiatives, our team of 143 members have dedicated over 21,000 volunteer hours, contributed towards 8 sustainable development goals, and truly made real, meaningful impact.
And this is just the beginning of our story.
In the next year, Rekindle will generate $24,600 in revenue and reduce 885 kilograms of carbon emissions through upcycling wood waste.
Mira will reach 3 local communities and provide an additional 150,000 liters of clean drinking water.
And Enspire and Ennovate will reach an additional 2,000 students across 100 new modules and 3 provinces.
But this isn't just Enactus UBC's story.
Our story is one that defines Canada, showing just how much is possible when we find unity in our diversity, innovation, and passion.
Judges, join us as we continue our mission to protect the beauty of our home. For Canada will always be the true north, strong and free.
And we are
Enactus UBC.
We will now begin the question and answer period. Judges, please raise your hand to indicate you have a question, and a microphone will be brought to you. When asking your question, please stand if you are able.
For Mira, is there an opportunity or responsibility to do ongoing testing of the water once the filter is installed to ensure it's safe?
Yes, of course. So we're launching our first pilot this summer with the Skoluk First Nation, and we'll be in constant communication and collaboration to refine and adapt our prototype. Even when we span to more communities, there will be constant communication. Our team will actually be going in person to make sure that we're able to adapt and refine and make sure that our water is meeting all quality standards.
Hello, how did you go about identifying and reaching out to the Indigenous communities that you consulted with?
That's a great question. At Enactus UBC, we understand that it's so important to take the proper time and use the proper resources to really understand the struggles that some of these Indigenous communities face. So at Enactus UBC, we first wanted to consult with our faculty and the university, where we partnered with a few organizations at UBC who then put us into contact with the Skoluk First Nation. And from there, we went from talking to them, had them in all of our meetings, and had that constant communication to ensure that we were not only able to understand their needs, but how we can collaborate with them to ensure that we're providing a solution that they want.
For the solar-powered Mira, did you consider northern communities that may not have year-round access to solar power and how that would work?
Yes, of course. That was a concern that we had. However, we have placed a generator inside of our product, which can store electricity and store solar power for a long time for weather conditions, and that is something we're working to refine and adapt in our pilot, and is something that we're working in collaboration with our chemical engineering team as well as the Skoluk First Nation to adapt.
You've got a lot going on. How do you prioritize where you allocate, resources, capital for all of these great initiatives?
Absolutely. I can take this one. With our team of 143 members at Enactus UBC, this is divided not only quite evenly amongst all of our projects, but also in terms of the number of individuals we have on our fund development team who support us at an organization-wide level as to applying for grants and distributing funds and resources based on what each project needs in each given year. Just to give a very quick project-by-project breakdown, for Mira, we are currently reliant on a $2,000 grant that we received from the UBC Sauder School of Business to help us with our prototyping efforts, and we currently have a team of about 10 individuals working on those prototyping as well as with our market research, very similarly with Rekindle. And as for Ennovate and Enspire, we have a team of about 20 to 30 program associates for each project who go into these high schools individually and in person to deliver these workshops.
Very good, you guys. The question I have is when you combine an adhesive and a wood product, you change the chemical makeup of it. Have you studied what chemicals are released when it accidentally or intentionally is burnt?
That's a great question. Through our 4-month-long prototyping phase, we tried a variety of different chemicals, blended them together, and see the effects that would then happen. However, with our casing-based adhesive, we have been able to perfect a model that is able to be converted into products such as coasters without actually releasing any chemicals within the production process.
What, if any, marketing principles did you apply to drive consumer demand once you get into Canadian Tire?
That's a great question. Right now, we are currently working in collaboration with a local store manager to get our products in Canadian Tire. And with them, we're also working with them to create various displays and product displays that can not only tell the story of our product, but also the story of our mission. We believe the root of Rekindle is in the fact that we're repurposing this wood waste. And so making sure that we're selling that as well on the educational front, as well as the actual product itself, is something that we're definitely prioritizing.
Hi, congratulations. Can you quickly walk us through the cost structure of Mira? So what's the cost to produce a unit? What's the labor involved? And for sure.
Yes, right now one product costs $70 to make, and we're selling it for $150, which is a price point that we came up with in collaboration with the Skoluk First Nation. It is more affordable than other existing options, and right now our team of 10 dedicated volunteers are able to help refine and work with the Skoluk First Nation to perfect our prototype.
Hi. Congratulations. My question was related to the Rekindle product, and if you've looked at the market or the
Time has expired. Judges and guests, please help me in thanking the team from University of British Columbia, Vancouver.